All right, hey guys, we are going to be reviewing for your Module 7 test tomorrow. So you're going to want your notebook out and a calculator. If I were you, you can start a page in your notebook that's titled Module 7 Review. If you took some notes yesterday in class, just add to it. If you didn't, then make a new page. It would be kind of nice to have all your notes on one page so you have a quick place to look on your test tomorrow to review. So a quick little review here before we get going. Could you write the equation for this line? I want you to pause the video and write what you think the equation is. All right, so first thing I might notice is it goes through 0, 0. That's the y-intercept, so I'm going to put plus 0 at the end. Okay, then I'm going to find 2 points. Here's one and here's one. I'm going to find my slope. So slope is rise over run, but it looks like I go down 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it's down 1, it's negative 1/4. And then over 4, and then x plus 0. So you could write it like that, or you could write it like this without the plus 0. All right, so first thing that you are going to see on your test tomorrow, the first part of the test is all about angles. All right, so you guys already have some pretty good notes about angles, but I'll just kind of review some things that you need to know. So we have alternate exterior angles and alternate interior angles. So alternate exterior would be like 2 and 8. They're on the outside. The thing that is special about them is they are congruent. So if you don't know what that word means, you might want to put that. Congruent means equal. So those 2 angles are equal. We also have alternate interior. So like angles 3 and 5, those are on the inside, alternate sides, and those are also congruent. So they are equal to each other. Remember, this line here that cuts through them is called a transversal. So again, we learned that earlier in the chapter, but I just wanted to kind of review it. And then these little lines here mean that they are parallel lines. All right, so if we take a quick look at the picture, I want you to test yourself out. Could you name me a pair of corresponding angles, a pair of vertical angles, some alternate interior, and some alternate exterior? All right, let's start with corresponding. Corresponding mean they have to be in the same spot. So if I took this and I drug that down here, they have to land in the exact same spot. So like angle 2 and 6, they're in the same spot. So those would be corresponding. I could say angle 2 and angle 6. Remember, those are also equal. Vertical angles I'll do in yellow. Vertical have to be like across from each other. 5 and 7, those are vertical. And you will have to do this on your test, FYI. Those are vertical. Alternate interior, I'll do a different color. Could be like 4 and 6. Okay, they're on the inside, opposite sides. So angle 4 and angle 6. And then alternate exterior, I'll do in, let's do black. It's angle 1 and angle 7. They're on the outside and on alternating sides. Now, all of those things, these 2 are congruent. They're equal to each other. Same thing here. These are congruent. These are congruent. These are congruent. So again, you write down anything you need to know. If you feel good about this, you don't need to write it down. All right, here is your next one. I'm going to tell you that angle 4 is 115 degrees. So I'm going to come label that. If you know that one, you should be able to find all the rest in the picture. So angle 2 should also be 115 because they're vertical. Okay, now can you find some other ones? So if I take a look at these 2 together, they make 180. So if I do 180, take away 115, it looks like I get 65. So that one's 65. And then angle 3 is also 65. And if I take this and I slide it down here, I should be able to fill in, well, that's 65 and 65, 115, 115. Those are all corresponding. The other word that's on here is adjacent angles. You guys maybe have forgot about this word. You should have it in your notes, but if you forgot about it, an adjacent angle, it's 2 angles that are right next to each other. Okay, so like these 2 angles, they have to share a point in the middle. So if I trace that angle, and then I trace this other angle, they share that vertex, and they share that side in the middle. So that's adjacent. All right, so the next one is going to be a picture like this. So you guys can pause it and try it before I do it, or you can do it with me. So I'm going to tell you angle 9 is 65, and angle 11 is 75. All right, if you know those 2, you guys should be able to find some other ones pretty quickly. So 14, that's vertical, so that's 65. Across from 11, that one's 75. And then if I do these three together, I'll kind of highlight the three. If I do these three together, 9, 10, and 11, they make 180. They make a straight line. So if I add 65 plus 75 and then take that away from 180, I end up with 40. So this one is 40. Now that I know that one, 13 is also 40. Now here's where people kind of get stuck sometimes. And I'm going to try to highlight this the best that I can. If I look at angle 4 and angle 9, if you guys look at those, they are between these two lines. So they're interior and they're on alternating sides. So they are equal. So then this one's 65. Now that you know that one, you know this one's 65. And then these two together have to make a straight line. So if I do 180, take away 65, I end up with 115. If that's 115, so is that. Okay. Now here's the next place I would go. I'm going to use a yellow highlighter. Inside a triangle, we learned that all the angles make 180. So far I have 65 and 40 in there. You guys can see those two. So if I have 65 plus 40, and then take that away from 180. And it looks like I end up with 75, so this one's 75. Now that you know that one, angle 6 is 75 because it's vertical, and then these two together make 180, so this would be 105, and so would this. And we just found every angle on that picture. All right, the next thing that we learned about triangles, again, we should have notes on this, but just a quick refresher, is all three angles in a triangle have to make 180. That's the Sum Theorem. Okay, then we also learned, this is the second part that a lot of you maybe forget about. If I have these two inside angles in a triangle, they're always going to equal that exterior angle. So these are called remote interior. And together, if I add those up, they equal 140. That's the same as this outside one, 140. Once you know that one, you can find this one because these two make 180 together. So that one would have to be 40. All right, so that's what we learned about exterior angles. So if I gave you a couple to try, okay, so this first one, obviously, it's just, hey, I've got three angles. They have to make 180. So I would just do 180 minus 65 minus 95, see what's left. Okay, so you guys can do that in yourself. The second one, there's two ways you could do this. Number one, you could say, hey, 37 plus this one has to equal 72. So 37 plus something equals 72. Well, I would just subtract 37 then. I get x equals 35. Okay, now another way to do this is you could have said like, hey, these two together make 180. And then you could have done 180 minus 72 and gotten 108. And then you could have said, hey, these three have to make 180. And then you could have got it that way. All right. Last thing that we learned about this chapter is Pythagorean Theorem. So you guys should know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I have these two sides squared equals my hypotenuse squared. So if I wanted to find the length of an unknown, the only thing you guys need to be careful about is label your sides. My two short sides, that's my a and my b. This is my c. Be careful. That has to be the equals over here. So I'm going to say 8 squared plus x squared equals 12 squared. Now when you solve this, if it's one like this, you're going to get your numbers. Okay, I'm just doing this super quick. And then you're going to subtract 64 from both sides. I get x squared equals 80. And then your last step is to do the square root of 80. Okay, and then whatever that is, you're going to put about. Okay, I'm not going to type that in. You guys can do that on your own. All right, next thing we learned about was the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. And again, you'll have this on your test. So basically, you want to say, well, is this a right angle? So you're going to take the two shorter sides, 7 squared plus 6 squared. See if it equals the longer side squared, 12 squared. That's my hypotenuse, longest side. So 49 plus 64, does that equal 144? I can already tell it doesn't, so it's not a right triangle. All right, and the last thing that we learned this chapter is the graphing. Okay, so I might give you some points. Just be careful when you're graphing if you need to put this in your notes. It goes left, right, and then up, down. Okay, again, I would write this down for sure. So a lot of you plot your points wrong. So if I was going to plot this first one, negative 4, 6. Okay, I'm going to put that right below here. Okay, the first number tells me to go left or right. It's negative, so I'm going to go left. Okay, so I'm going to go left 4, and then my second number either is up or down. Well, it's positive, so I'm going to go up 6. So I'm going to start from the origin. I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to go left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put my dot. So again, left 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3, 4. Put my dot. Okay, if I was going to graph my next one, -4, -3. Okay, first number tells you left or right. Well, I'm going to go left. Second number tells you up or down. I'm going to go down. It's negative. So I'm going to go left 4, down 3. Okay, and then my last one, 3, -3. First number tells you left or right. So I'm going to go right 3 and then down 3. So right 3, 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2, 3. Okay, I just made a triangle, and if I want to find the length, it appears to be a right triangle. So now I'm going to do, count how long this is. Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. So I'm going to do 9 squared plus 7 squared equals x squared. You guys know how to solve that, so you would just go from there. All right, the rest of the class here is what you guys are working on. Number 1, if you did not finish the class kick and get 100% on it, you need to go to your class kick. If you get stuck, please ask somebody at your table. I'm sure they can get it. If your whole table is stuck, ask another group. Okay, so you are working on the class kick number 1. Okay, if you finish the class kick, you're going to go to Schoology, and there's a folder. You're going to pick some items to practice. Okay, so you're going to pick some items to practice. If you finish that, I want you to do some Alex topics. Remember, we're in the championship this week, so if we win, we're going to earn some free days. So the more topics you do this week, the better. So if you finish all of that, do the Alex topics. And then your test is tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, I will be here tomorrow, and I will review with you tomorrow before the test.